Actor Mickey Rourke is now turning to GoFundMe to pay more than $59,000 in back rent.
The reality of being a content creator with over 200,000 followers is I'm broke.
Influencers are going broke. They're not able to pay their bills. They're not able to pay their mortgages. And people are mad at them.
All right, so I'm back on schedule. I thought I was going to be gone for a bit because of the storm, but it ended up not being nearly as bad as what everybody was saying. I thought we weren't going to have power for a while, but here we are. But anyway, we're going to be taking a look at celebrities and influencers going broke. Now, the last time I went over this topic, my video ended up getting age restricted and YouTube would not tell me the reason why. Nothing bad in the video whatsoever. I don't even allow cursing, but for some reason it was silenced. And here we are doing it again. Because if you're not financially literate in today's world, it is very easy to go broke. Whether you make $10,000 a year or $10 million, it doesn't matter. We have a lot to go over today along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's jump into a recent story.
New at 11 tonight, actor Mickey Rourke is now turning to GoFundMe to pay more than $59,000 in back rent. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the crowdfunding drive launched this morning with his full permission. The page says money raised will help prevent Rourke's eviction from his Los Angeles home, along with giving him some stability during a very stressful time and space to get back on his feet. So far, it has raised nearly $47,000 in just a few hours. Rourke launched to stardom in the 1980s, later abandoning acting to pursue professional boxing. He made a comeback in 2008 in the movie The Wrestler, earning Golden Globe and Academy Award nominations.
Now, before I say anything about it, let's go over to the comments. Me looking at regular people donating their hard-earned money to a celebrity for their rent. It's bananas, isn't it? Look at how crazy this can get. I would never. Ask yourself if he would pay your rent. Who is sending celebrities their money? He's made millions. I'll never donate. Why don't other celebrities help him? $78,989 raised out of $100,000. Who are the people donating? I don't know. I thought that celebrity culture was dying very quickly, especially in the age of social media. But on the other hand, it seems like there's going to be over $100,000 worth of donations to this specific celebrity alone. I'm not too sure about his situation, but if he has a house in the LA area and you're still living that celebrity luxury lifestyle, $100,000 might not get you that far. So I wouldn't be surprised in the future seeing a story of him going completely bankrupt. But let's switch over to some influencers.
I went from making, I would say, an average of like 60 to like 120,000 a month just on Twitch for like a good year and a half. And then right as it started to decline, it went from like 60 to 40 grand a month, then 20 grand a month, then 10 grand a month, and then I had a month where I made 2 grand a month. Like
how are you okay seeing those numbers?
So decline? I was spending around, I lived in LA at the time alone. And obviously my numbers go down, friends stop hitting you up, certain people, like friends I thought I had, like, you know, aren't my real friends, family, like different type of thing, past relationships, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot that happened, but I lived alone and I had my rent. My rent was like $5,000 a month at the time. Tularia, by the way, in Burbank. That place is $5,000 a month and I lived in a little square. It was the worst ever. I loved living there low key, but it was not worth it. But I was paying like $5,000 a month, and then my expenses, like when I would go shopping, I'd get depressed shopping. People do that, or like buy food or whatever. I was spending more than I was making a month.
It's crazy how similar these stories are as soon as you move to the LA area. Everybody wants to have that kind of lifestyle, no matter what you do. And by many people's opinion, including myself, this guy was very successful. I mean, 6 figures a month streaming on Twitch. But no matter how popular you get, there will always be a peak. And eventually the viewers and money will start declining, all the way down to apparently $2,000 a month. He could have had a pretty solid nest egg for himself, but so many believe that this money will just keep coming in month after month forever. We got another experience here, a comment from you guys. The YouTuber's part reminded me of a buddy who was pretty big on here, 600,000+ followers, and was pretty wealthy for a while, lived in a nice downtown penthouse. He flew us out to Vegas one time and he gambled and drank his money away. He's older now, his content dried up, and last time I heard, he's living back home with his parents. I used to be jealous of him, but now it's just sad to see. Now, another niche that's been drying up on the internet recently are a lot of the car YouTube channels.
There's Hoovie's Garage.
Tyler Hoover built his channel around buying questionable cars and dealing with the fallout, usually with humor. But recently, that joke stopped being funny. In early 2025, he revealed that he owed around $500,000 in back taxes, forcing him to sell off a large part of his collection almost immediately.
So about a month has gone by since I walked through and said goodbye to all of those cars, and in the meantime, I had a guess on how much taxes that I owed, and it turned out, I guessed very, very wrong. I owe about double what I thought, over $500,000. So I'm gonna have to sell a lot more cars and have sold a lot more cars.
Several cars were sold at a loss simply to stay afloat. For a channel with over 1 million subscribers, it was a clear reminder of how thin the margin really is. An even harsher example is Tall Guy Car Reviews. He built his channel documenting a rapid rise from a Hellcat to a Lamborghini, showing what looked like a classic YouTube success story. But by 2022, things started to fall apart. Reports surfaced that he had filed for bankruptcy and sold the rights to his YouTube brand. Around the same time, uploads slowed down, signature cars disappeared, and the channel quietly faded. It was a rare case where the financial collapse happened in full view of the audience.
Now this is just 2 examples. This is a much longer video with way more YouTubers in similar situations. I think this is for a couple of reasons. Over the past few years, the way to get clicks and attention on YouTube on any social media was to have something bigger, better, faster, more expensive than every other influencer. So it went from having a muscle car or a sports car to a supercar and then a hypercar. We're talking about millions of dollars per vehicle, all just to make content online. And while some channels did rake in a ton of views and could be very lucrative, it's pretty tough to offset the millions of dollars you'd have to pay just to be able to buy these vehicles in the first place. Now the landscape has definitely changed. People don't like seeing the wealthy and the supercars and the hypercars just being flaunted in front of everybody's face. It's not relatable whatsoever. So you have a lot of these channels losing viewership and money, and they cannot afford these monthly car payments anymore. But we'll go back to some of these celebrities, especially the athletes, with a comment from you guys right here. It's ridiculous how when celebrities go broke, they always blame taxes first, as if they're the only ones getting taxed. Everyone has to pay taxes. I don't care if you paid $5 million in taxes. Most don't make $5 million in a lifetime before tax. That is a perfect segue to the next clip.
If you ever want an example of an athlete who has lost touch with reality and the common man, listen to Odell Beckham speak about money. It's nearly impossible to build generational wealth on a 5-year, $100 million contract.
What?
That's what he said. He goes, people don't understand how hard it is when you only make now I'm paraphrasing, when you only make $100 million. He goes, the first 40 goes to the government.
Okay.
Now you're left with 60.
Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure I could make things work with a net of $60 million.
Absolutely.
And then he goes, well, you got to buy a house.
True.
You probably got to buy your mom or dad or your parents a house.
You do.
So now you're buying 2 houses. Everybody needs a car. And in my head, I'm like, okay, let's even say you bought a $500,000 house.
Right.
That's a beautiful home.
Of
Let's
course.
say you bought 2 of them. Mm-hmm. So that's $1 million. Now you're down to 59.
Right.
Let's say you bought 5 cars, $100K each. Now you're at 58.5.
You're still fine.
Like, you have enough money when you have a 5-year, $100 million deal. If you F it up, you got nobody to blame but you.
Unless he honestly changes his thought about money, this sounds like he's on a set path to eventually going broke. Because if you don't think you can make generational wealth off of a $100 million contract, there's not much else anybody could do for you. Let's just say his taxes were 50%. Immediately, he loses $50 million and he has 50 left. Now I know, especially making that type of money, these people are not buying $500,000 houses. They're going above and beyond, at least $1 million, maybe 2, 3, 5 million. We'll add on buying a crazy house for his parents as well, both $5 million each. Now you're down to 40. Let's just add on another $1 million for some vehicles as well. I'm pretty sure you could have a real nice life with $39 million left in the bank.
Did OBJ sell his Super Bowl cleats because he's going broke? Rumors have been swirling after OBJ went on the Pivot podcast and complained about how it's hard to make his NFL earnings last forever. Simple search lets us know that he's made $101 million in his career, and that's not including his endorsements, like signing the highest shoe deal for an NFL player at the time with Nike in 2017. And yes, he did further explain on the podcast that people don't think about the taxes when talking about this. To say it's hard to make the millions he's earned over the last 10 years last forever is an insane statement, especially when the median household income in the USA is $83,000 per year. And you have other athletes being smart with their earnings from the jump, like Jason Tatum, who doesn't spend any of his NBA money and lives strictly off of his endorsement income. I can see why there's concern. I mean, he didn't even mention saving it until Ryan Clark brought it up.
That's 12 a year.
you know, that you have to spend, use, save, invest.
Okay, so let's take that number right at the end, 12 a year, $12 million a year. That's left after all the taxes and everything. If you put that money aside for investments and got a 4% return per year, which is kind of on the lower end, a lot of people like to shoot for 8 to 10, but we'll keep it at the 4%. You would be getting almost $500,000 a year forever, doing absolutely zero work. And you could add even more. He said $12 million a year left with a 5-year contract. When it's all said and done, you could be getting millions of dollars a year given to you passively for absolutely no work at all. We'll go over to some of the comments. He only gets like 50 million after taxes. I like to reply, should we start a GoFundMe? And we got another comment from you guys talking about the passive income. It's really insane because if they put $1 million or $2 million in the bank or a fund, like I mentioned, the interest alone would be enough to live off of. Especially for this case, the $100 million contract, you would be more than fine.
I'm not a big person of regrets, but I do. One thing, just early on in my career, it got to a point too where I enabled the people around me to spend like $400,000 a month. Like it was a month, bro. Like on clothes, trying to do stuff on eBay, trying to flip stuff. Because when you see 8 figures, like you're like, oh man, this ain't going nowhere. But when you read your monthly statement, and you see a number that you're not even like, if you're not touching it. Man, you see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And you see that number, you're like, oh, nah, this ain't gonna go.
This is yet another example of somebody becoming very successful, very wealthy, then having to support virtually everybody around you, your entire family, your friend group, and it costing him apparently $400,000 a month. You're talking almost $5 million a year disappearing. So even if your contract is in the 8-figure realm, you start bleeding out money incredibly quickly. And unfortunately, there are a ton of instances of people going broke for this reason. Trent Richardson family spent $2 million before he even touched the money, and then he was out of the league. I've also gone over this before, especially with sports. You have a finite amount of time. You're probably going to get injured several times, and you never know when your time is up. Then the millions of dollars that are coming in every year just vanish. And we got another comment from you guys that goes perfect with the last example. A lot of these celebrities have so-called friends that hang around with them. These friends cost money and expect not to pay for anything. It really is just unbelievable to me.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
2011, first getting drafted, spent about $50,000 on the table my first night out.
Like at a club?
At a club, yep.
And then what made you do that?
Because I can do it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the worst decision I ever made. Never spent after that night, I never spent any money on the table ever again at a club, regardless of how much money I was making.
What did your friends and family have to say about you spending that amount?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. Yeah, I mean, why?
Did your mom get mad at you about it?
Yeah, for sure. Like, why would you spend $50,000 on the table?
You can spend it on me.
You can spend it on me, or actually invest in a food truck, or do something smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? So, I tell cats all the time. You know, it's all about saving your chicken. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The cat that I play with, Marshawn Lynch, save your chicken. That's all he say. Save your bread. You know what I'm saying? So, just save your bread, man, and invest wisely.
But that's just not the thought process of everybody making this kind of money. It's all right, I'll go to the club once a week and drop $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 at a time. I don't think I have to tell you, that starts adding up very quickly. This guy had a $1 million contract with the Seattle Seahawks. 50 grand is nothing to him. That $1 million turns into $300,000 really fast. He has to pay his agent, taxes, nutritionist, personal trainer, etc. Maybe it is that costly, but even just dropping it down to 50%, that contract netting him $500,000. 10% of that disappeared within one night of the club. It only takes a few more times to have absolutely no money and one career-ending injury to mess everything up.
In his initial bankruptcy filing, Antonio Brown checked a box indicating that he had less than $50,000 in total assets. I think that would probably come as a surprise to anybody who followed his NFL career.
You see stories like this following people who are flashy with money and seek validation from showing off their wealth, which we know is true about Antonio. I can't say that it was expected, but it wasn't unexpected.
We have another comment here from you guys that adds a good point. Nobody's mentioning the insane gambling habits of some of these athletes. The years I worked at a casino, I've seen athletes lose houses and still not get off the table. I think one of the best examples is one of the best athletes to ever live, Michael Jordan. It's pretty common knowledge that he liked to gamble quite a bit, losing tons of money in the process when he didn't even need it in the first place. Because the whole goal of gambling is to win more money, right? With the amount of money he made during his NBA career, of course Nike and Jordan as a brand is a huge cash cow. It just shows how dangerous gambling can be in today's world. I am happy though that some people are starting to realize this and teach the younger generations to avoid these types of problems in the future as well, especially if you're talking about being an athlete.
89% of the NFL and NBA players are broke 3 years after they retire. Broke, bankrupt, flat broke. And if you think football is going to pave your way for the rest of your life, you're sadly mistaken. And I just hope that you understand you should let football pay for your education, not the other way around.
I worked in a factory with a former NFL first-round draft pick. Another person talking about OBJ, look at Odell Beckham Jr. complaining about $100 million is not enough. Prime example. There's really just so many different examples, I can't even fit them all in one video.
Celebrities who went from rich to broke. Number 1, Nicolas Cage. Once one of Hollywood's highest paid stars, Cage blew through a $150 million fortune on castles, dinosaur skulls, and rare comics. By 2009, unpaid taxes and bad investments left him nearly broke. Number 2, Lindsay Lohan. The Mean Girls star earned millions as a teen, but lost it all to addiction, legal troubles, and reckless spending. Through years of chaos, she's slowly rebuilding her life and career. Number 3, Wesley Snipes. Famous for the Blade trilogy, Snipes ignored millions in taxes and ended up serving time in federal prison. His fortune disappeared, forcing him to rebuild from scratch after release. Number 4, Burt Reynolds. A 1970s box office king, Reynolds spent lavishly on houses and cars, eventually declaring bankruptcy in 1996. Despite later comebacks, he never regained his former wealth.
Now this is just one video of many that I found with the Hollywood stars, but let's go back to some of the influencers and the crazy spending they love to do.
Tara's World was dropped by her management company, and she is also selling her house that cost her over $25,000 a month. Now, back in the day, Tara's World was making like 6 figures every month on OF, and now a few months ago, she talked about the fact that her financial situation is a bit different nowadays in that she doesn't really like to do OF anymore, but she's kind of stuck doing it because her mortgage was so high. And at the time, she didn't want to sell her house. Now, she was recently dropped by her management company, and people were like, okay, why is that a big deal? You still can make money through your own videos. Honestly, guys, getting your own brand deals and negotiating them is a lot harder than you think. And it's easier when these companies just have connections. Therefore, their influencers get these jobs over just regular people. They sort of know to hype you up and promote you. Not impossible, just a lot easier when someone else is doing it and they have better chance of getting you a lot more money for these different brand deals. Yes, this will definitely impact her income because money that she makes off these apps alone, I definitely do not think she would have been able to make that $25,000 mortgage payment.
So you wonder why you see advertisements every waking moment of your life on any social media platform you could think of. If you're talking about places like Instagram and TikTok, the ad rates are not good for videos whatsoever, so the brand deals are the way to go. And selling you things, taking these deals could be so lucrative that you decide to take on a $25,000 a month mortgage. But yet again, I know I'm a broken record. The views start drying up, the advertisers aren't paying as much of attention to you, and the money starts disappearing, so much so that you have to sell your house. It's not looking too good, to be honest.
A lot of these celebrities and influencers may seem like they have a lot of money, but they don't. They live check to check just like everybody else. Some of them, not all of them, but a lot of the ones that portray these lifestyles, like they always going on vacation and they always buying, certain, luxury brands and stuff like that. They don't have it like they portray that they have it online. 99% of these people are using y'all as the method. When y'all buy stuff from them, they use those funds to then go purchase the stuff that they told y'all that they have on hand. And then that's when they ship them out to y'all weeks and weeks later. And a lot of these gurus that be selling these courses, no matter what kind of course it is, all they do is just copy and paste from somebody else. They buy it from somebody else for, $500 to $1,000. And then they just memorize it and regurgitate it to y'all like they've been doing it for XYZ amount of years. A lot of these people are staying in influencer and celebrity homes, which means that there are probably 10 of them in a 4-bedroom house. And a lot of people who have these exotic cars are pooling their money together and sharing these cars. So it's a different person driving that car every day of the week. So please stop feeling like you're behind for your age, because a lot of people are faking their lifestyles.
The Bow Wow private jet picture proved this. If you don't know what they're talking about, there was a celebrity quite a while ago now who posted a picture on Instagram of him showing off a private jet that he's taking. And then somebody found him on a normal plane with everybody else, took a picture of him to call him out because he was lying about the entire thing. Tyga's been broke for years. The search being Vanessa Hudgens broke. I'm not sure about those two. But going back to the private jets, we have a clip right here from T-Pain.
To take a private jet from Atlanta to Vegas and then back to Atlanta is $126,000. And y'all are asking me, do you understand what I'm saying? Are you okay now? You feel like it? No private jet? What? You're not taking a private jet? You're not spending all this money to go make money? How would you do that? In what world is that smart than y'all to be like, are you going broke again?
If you don't know T-Pain's story, he was somebody who made an absolute ton of money with his music and unfortunately just spent all of it, went completely broke, and has been talking about a lot of financial literacy to the public so other people don't make the same mistake that he did.
Most influencers fall off and go broke. Even though most people want to be influencers, this is a simple fact about it. I'll tell you why. So I knew this kid back in high school. If you watch my old video on high school, you know why I smiled there. But anyway, this kid had it all. Well, not really, but he was really good looking. And he blew up on TikTok, and you've all definitely seen this kid. He's from my town, so I knew him pretty well, and he went to LA, moved to LA. Bro's getting the views, bro's getting the brand deals. He was making money, bro. But the lifestyle kind of got him, bro, because he figured, you know, the views are forever, my followers are forever. So he just kept buying more and more stuff. He was renting like a really expensive house out there, trying to impress girls, yada yada, the whole nine. But then something happened. The views dried up. And so when you're on social media, you have a shelf life. This happens to every creator. Views dry up. So what you do before that happens is you build a little infrastructure for yourself so you can financially sustain when you like fall off, so you can adapt.
But most people don't do that, and that's why there's so many different examples in this video.
The reality of being a content creator with over 200,000 followers is I'm broke. I go viral literally every single week. Every week. I got like over 8 million views this past month. I have like loyal fans, you know, but I'm just like, yo, I had $101 in my bank account yesterday. Last month, the Creator Fund paid me like $70 because I make a lot of short form videos that aren't over 1 minute long.
I don't think the Creator Fund has ever been where the money was at. It's the sponsorships trying to sell you crap. People will continue to be surprised that the number of followers does not equal making bank. I guessed at 8 million views and having loyal fans for only $70 is criminal pay. Even though a ton of people watch short form content, that is definitely not where the money is.
Influencers are going broke. They're not able to pay their bills. They're not able to pay their mortgages. And people are mad at them. People are mad at them. And I honestly, a part of me, I think it's justifiable, right? To be like, you essentially squandered away millions of dollars and you have like nothing to show for it. There's been so many influencers coming out recently talking about like, I don't have that much money and I can't afford this. And like they went in on a house that was way too much money. Or maybe like at a time when you were like, I can afford this payment. But that doesn't mean you're gonna be able to afford that payment forever, especially when you're working in something so finicky as like influencing in social media and things like that. But I feel like this is the perfect example of that most people don't have money problems, they have spending problems. And so many people are living paycheck to paycheck on all of the income scales. People are living paycheck to paycheck, and it is crazy.
So this is why I make the videos I do on this channel. Like I said at the beginning, whether you make $10,000 a year or 10 million, it doesn't really matter if you're not financially literate. You could end up with $0 to your name very quickly, as we have definitely seen in this video. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.